Egyptian mythology and Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's watch.
I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I also like talking about
Hold on, that's a little loud.
mythology. So guess what this video is gonna be about? I'm gonna tell you about some reference to Egyptian mythology in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime.
Okay. Egyptian mythology and Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's watch.
I like Yu-Gi-Oh! I also
I
like
like it
talking
too.
about mythology. So guess what this video is gonna be about? I'm
I
gonna
also like mythology, question mark?
tell you about some reference to Egyptian mythology in the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. Now obviously this video is by no means comprehensive. In fact, it is actually just an excuse for me to talk about two things that I like for about 10 minutes or so.
But I like that. This is not gonna be like a whole breakdown of all the Yu-Gi-Oh! mythology. It's mostly just talking about the things that the YouTuber in question literally who likes. So I love that. To preface this, I'm not very familiar with Egyptian mythology. I think like most of the Egyptian mythology that I know, it's probably because of Yu-Gi-Oh! And maybe Moon Knight. I think it's Moon Knight and Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think I've been exposed to much. I haven't watched like The Mummy, for example. And I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. I will think about something else. No, wait. Actually, no. Maybe it's like JoJo is also just references. It's not exactly. They don't go in depth. So it would be cool to see this.
That's it. Let's start with the main plot of the show and how it relates to Egyptian thought. See, the main plot is that the pharaoh has to recover his memories in order to move on to the afterlife, and the only way for him to do that is by learning his name. This is because he is Egyptian, and for the ancient Egyptians, names were a big deal.
Oh, we're starting strong. Already things that I had no idea about.
Knowing someone's name was powerful knowledge. With the right name, you could even bend the will of a god. And so it is fitting that for the pharaoh, learning his name carries so much weight. However, he doesn't just have any random name. His name is Atem, which is a variation of the name Atum. Now, Atum is a very important deity in the Egyptian pantheon, but what's worth noting here is that the word Atum can mean something akin to the completed one. And you can see this reflected in Pharaoh Atem. For the majority of the story, the pharaoh has no idea who he is. It is only until the final arc when he learns his name that he regains his memories. And after
it's so cool, right? He records the memories and he says, I am complete. I'm sorry.
After he learns who he is, he moves on to the afterlife and the story is over. After the pharaoh learns his name, he becomes the completed one, both metaphorically and literally.
That's awesome.
Also, while we're talking about names, the word Atem backwards reads meta, which is how Yu-Gi-Oh! Players refer to the competitive aspect of the card game. Obviously not intentional, but it is kinda funny how things work out. Now, let's talk about the god cards, because I have a couple of things to say about them. First of all, although they are referred to as the god cards, they are technically not actual Egyptian gods in their own universe.
Was Osiris, or whatever, not what?
That sounds confusing, but let me explain. See, we call this card Slifer, but in Japanese, it's called Osiris. Its full name could be rendered as the Celestial Dragon of Osiris. Obelisk is similar. Its Japanese full name can be translated as the Divine Soldier of the Obelisk. Ra, on the other hand, wasn't changed. In either Japanese or English, he is the Winged Dragon of Ra.
Well, wait, all this time I have misinterpreted the names. There is no way. Yeah, of course Ra is also a god, but they are like... They work for the gods, right? They are not the gods. Interesting.
Did you notice the pattern there? This is the Celestial Dragon of Osiris. And this is the Winged Dragon of Ra. The God cards.
How am I finding this? Like, it's been like 25 years. Oh my god.
Gods at all. They are property of the actual Egyptian gods. When Atem fuses the three god cards while fighting Zork, what he's essentially doing is rubbing the three god cards against each other to get the attention of an actual Egyptian god. And it works. A proper Egyptian god shows up. And it is not any random god either. Atem calls the actual sun god Ra in his most powerful form, Horakti. Now, a quick crash course on the ancient Egyptian view of the sun. And I want to be clear here that what I'm about to say is disgustingly simplified, but the short reductive version is that the ancient Egyptians believed the sun was on a perpetual process of aging and rejuvenation. At sunrise, the sun was young. At sunset, the sun was old, and at noon, when the sun was at its highest, it was also at its strongest, and the Egyptians called that Horakti. In a way, Horakti is the most powerful form of the sun god Ra, and this is what Atem is summoning. Also, Horakti nukes Zork into oblivion, creating a giant explosion that should probably kill everybody because they were all right besides Zork, but at the end it turns out that the real power were the friends we made along the way or whatever, so just don't think about it, I guess. Now, since we were talking about the sun, let's talk about another solar illusion, Ra's sphere mode. In the show, when you normal summon Ra, he appears as a golden ball, and by reciting a mystical chant, Ra comes out. This sphere mode represents two things. The first and most obvious, the golden sphere represents the sun, and the winged dragon of Ra comes out of the sphere, just like the ancient Egyptians believed the sun god Ra arose every morning in the horizon. The second reference of Ra's sphere mode is tied to one of the various ancient Egyptian creation myths. See, the ancient Egyptians had more than one creation story. For them, this wasn't contradictory at all. The way the ancient Egyptians saw it, all these creation myths had similar themes. For them, all these different stories about creation were simply variants of true events. In one of those creation myths, the first thing that is formed from nothingness is an egg, and from that egg is born a bird. The bird then squawks really loud and creates the universe.
That's so awesome, dude. That's so awesome.
Back to Yu-Gi-Oh, Ra's sphere mode represents this primordial egg. This is the reason why Ra looks more like a bird than a dragon. Speaking of birds, the bird that was formed from the primordial egg was called a Bennu bird, although today you know it by its Greek name, the phoenix. That's right.
There is no way it's the same thing, right? Are they actually the same thing? Phoenix?
The phoenix is an Egyptian creature, and that—
No. After all this time, this is how I find out.
That is why in the show, Ra has a phoenix mode.
Oh.
And while we're discussing symbolism, this has nothing to do with Egyptian mythology, by the way, but I always thought it was kinda neat, so— have you ever noticed that the three god cards have a blue gem on their forehead? Well, this—
I never noticed that, but that is very interesting.
stones represent the blue vault above one's head. In other words, the sky, or more specifically in this case, heaven. The blue gem is a stylistic way to
Wait, here's different color.
convey their divine provenance. Except in the movie, because in the movie, Obelisk has a red gem on his head.
Well, maybe because it was never intended to be that. Maybe it was just like a random thing, which I will hope that's not the case. I don't know. Maybe in this movie it's red because of Kaiba. Kaiba's going through it. Maybe? I don't know.
Not sure if that was a mistake or intended. If it was done on purpose, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the red gem could symbolize. But
I would assume it's just Kaiba going through it. Wait, but no. The gem wasn't being used by Kaiba, right? In that movie. What am I talking about? The gem, I mean Obelisk. Was it? I don't remember. Probably not.
jewelry aside, another significant thing for this video that is worth pointing out is the fact that Atem's god card is Slifer, because like I said before, in Japanese, Slifer is called Osiris. In Egyptian myth, Osiris was the god of the afterlife, and the pharaoh's whole thing is that he has to move on to the afterlife. So, thematically, it is appropriate that his god card is the one that is tenuously linked to the afterlife. That's why Slifer is placed above the other god cards in that big rock that Ishizu shows Kaiba. In that instance, Slifer is meant to symbolize the afterlife, where Pharaoh must go. Now,
didn't Kaiba literally pull Obelisk out of the air through another dimension? I haven't watched the movie, chat. I'm so sorry. I just haven't watched the movie. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Hello, Sonic. Welcome.
As we already discussed, the god cards were tools, pets, property of the actual Egyptian gods. An Egyptian god could order the god cards to do whatever, but so could Pharaoh Atem. And the reason for that is because in Egyptian thought, the pharaohs were divine. See,
what, are those supposed to be babies? That's a crazy representation.
See, there's this god called Horus. He was the god of many things. The Egyptian gods are very complex and multifaceted. More than being the god of the thing, they were the thing. Like for example, Ra is not the god of the sun. He is the sun.
Fake fan, even I watched the movie. That's not true, I haven't. I assume it's the fact that Obelisk wasn't supposed to be there. Kaiba shears will force Obelisk to reappear. Yeah, that's why I think it's on purpose. If it's on purpose, that would make sense, right? That would make perfect sense. It's just Not like the other ones. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but you know what I mean. The Dark Side of Dimension movie takes place via the manga timeline. Yeah. I'm aware.
Ball of light you see every day is supposed to be the physical body of the chief deity in the Egyptian pantheon. Now, back to Horus. Horus was the embodiment of many things. One of them was rulership, kingship. He embodied that concept because the Egyptian gods are abstract beings. I'm gonna repeat myself here, but the Egyptian gods weren't the god of the thing. They were the thing.
What is going on here? That's so awesome.
The thing. And now, because pharaohs were the kings of Egypt, they were by extension connected to Horus, and because of that connection, the pharaohs were considered divine. And so, going back to Yu-Gi-Oh, Atem is a pharaoh. He is directly connected to the god Horus, and this divine connection gives him authority over the god cards, and that's why he can call them whenever he wants and make them do his bidding. Now you might say, wait a second, Kaiba's not a pharaoh and he can control obelisks just fine. Explain that, nerd. And believe it or not, that can also be explained. See, we call this character Kaiba, but that's his last name. His first name is Seto, which is a transliteration of the name Seth. Seth was the name of an Egyptian god. Kaiba's last name is also pretty significant, but for that I have to briefly talk about the ancient Egyptian concept of the soul. Do be warned that the ancient Egyptian concept of a soul is wildly different from our modern understanding and actually very complex. So what I'm about to tell you is an obscenely simplified version. So the Egyptians believed that the soul was split into many pieces. The three main fragments, if you will, were called the Ak, the Ka, and the Ba. With that last piece of information, let's go back to Kaiba and analyze his full name.
There is no way.
The god Seth in both Ka and Ba.
Shut
in
up.
Both heart and soul.
Shut up. There is no way. There is no way. I'm just finding out about these things. Like, I can't, that's so fire, right? That is so awesome. Why am I finding out right now? Don't we know if it could be? This is true. There is no way this is not true.
In other words, just like the pharaoh is an avatar of the god Horus, Kaiba is an avatar of the god Seth. What's fun about this is that it explains why in the movie Kaiba can summon obelisks seemingly out of nowhere. Another interesting parallel between Kaiba and
where's his hand, right? What is he doing? What is this?
Seth is that in Egyptian mythology, Seth was known and feared for his immense strength and cunning. And you can see these two characteristics in Kaiba. Kaiba is hilariously smart and he has a ridiculously strong willpower. Another interesting parallel is that in Egyptian mythology, the gods Seth and Horus were mortal enemies, just like Kaiba and the pharaoh are rivals in the show. Now let's talk about something else like the millennium items. It is no coincidence that the pharaoh's millennium item is a pyramid. Pyramids were tombs, so thematically, it is fitting that Atem's soul is sealed in the Millennium Puzzle. Just like ancient Egyptians believed, one's soul would reside in a pyramid before ascending to heaven. Also, in the stone tomb where all the Millennium Puzzles are stored, the Millennium Puzzle is placed on the chest of the stone figure. This is fitting because the soul of the pharaoh is sealed in the Millennium Puzzle, and the puzzle is placed on the chest of the stone figure, which is an allusion at the fact that the Egyptians believe the soul physically resided in one's heart. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I love talking about this stuff. I could keep going, but let's be real. You could and should be watching something better than this.
No, I want more. Literally, who please give me more? I need this. I need this type of videos injected directly into my veins. I need more of this.
So how about we wrap this up? But before I end this, one last thing. It's gonna be interesting, I promise. Have you ever wondered what Exodia is supposed to be?
Oh,
well,
no.
There's two answers. First, it's the real and boring answer. And the other is purely headcanon, but I think it's pretty cool and fun. So the real answer first. Exodia is supposed to represent the god Osiris. In Egyptian myth, Osiris was split into pieces, which is why Exodia is separated into 5 cards. Also, Exodia has a corpse-looking mouth to represent his mummified status, just like the god Osiris was mummified. So that's the real non-headcanon answer. Exodia represents Osiris. Now, let's talk about the cool interpretation. Exodia's name is a play on the word Exodus. The book of Exodus is one of the first 5 books of the Bible.
I'm scared.
It's about how the Hebrews were freed from Egyptian slavery. Exodia's arms and legs are chained to symbolically represent this subjugation. Furthermore, in the English version of the 5 pieces of Exodia, you can see a strange symbol behind Exodia. This symbol is the trap
censorship,
card
right?
In Japanese, the card looks like this.
Oh, I mean, I would just let play.
Hexagram can also be seen in the Star of David. So Exodia is heavily linked with the ancient Israelites. And in the manga, he is referred to as a god. Now riddle me this. Which god is connected to the Israelites?
We're cooking too hard with this.
That's right. When you summon Exodia, you are actually summoning the god of the Bible. As if Exodia needed to be any cooler. Anyways, this has gone for long enough. Thank you for listening to my ramblings, and I really mean it. You could literally be watching anything else. So I appreciate you decided to spend some of your limited time on Earth listening to me nerding out about a children's card game. Really, thank you for watching, and as usual, I'll see you in the next one.
Children's card game? With all that you have told, you consider it a children's card game? That's crazy. That was such an awesome video, honestly. I'm gonna use this trivia. I mean, because obviously the original one, the actual one that is Osiris, because he has a mummy and everything. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And how it was divided into 5 pieces. Yeah, perfect sense. Now, the other one is interesting to think about. Now, when I talk to my friends that are not really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just start nerding out about Yu-Gi-Oh! I will tell them that's the truth. Just to mess with them. And it would be insane. Did you know that Exodia is actually the god from the Bible? But yeah, awesome video. Amazing. I want to see more of it. We want to check more. I hope this channel has more videos like this because yeah, that's really awesome. Cool.